EA Sports, within the game.
Good morning to you, OG family. This is our first time doing a OG report. We're going to do a preview of the team that I ended up picking in the new OG Ballers. This is a league that you have seen me stream in several times on the PS4. I actually called the Super Bowl last year with the Vikings and the Rams. It was a big, big watch last year. So just hoping that we can get it back like it was last year in this stream to where we have some big games like that. But this is the Buffalo Bills season 1 preview. We did our randomizer on Wednesday, and I ended up with a low pick, but I ended up coming up to number 10. Shout out to Jay. We decided to pick the Bills, and honestly, when you see the roster, it is not the Buffalo Bills that you are accustomed to, because this is like a franchise, and I'm big on the team building aspect. So for me, I like to go ahead and work on building a team past the first season. And I mean, I could have kept everybody together, but one of the things that I did was I got off of a lot of the contracts that were really, really tough for the Bills in the offseason. I don't know if you guys keep up with the actual cap situation and everything, but the Buffalo Bills will have a lot of cap problems in the upcoming foreseeable future. Basically, they're going to probably have to get rid of a couple of contracts on the team. But I brought you all on here to see how these Buffalo Bills that I have look, just to show you guys my first week matchup is against KD. Shout out to my boy. Make no mistake, don't let that overall or anything fool you. He's arguably one of the best users in all the leagues we play in. So make no mistake about it. Do not think that because you see a highly rated team that being I'm going to automatically win. Sorry, that's just not how it works. I'm going to play the best game I possibly can against him. But again, like I said, he's one of the best users around. So do not sit there and count that as an automatic win. So that's my thoughts on the week 1 opponent. But let me go ahead and show you guys the roster that I'm currently working with. Okay, it's coming up. As you see, Dalvin Cook is my running back. He was acquired in a trade for Josh Allen. I ended up sending Josh Allen off for some draft capital, Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins. Even though I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan, I'm just going to work with him first season. But this is what the breakdown of the roster looks like. Let me go to the quarterback situation so I can show you what is the situation I have. As I said, this Kirk Cousins, as you see, his age is 20 on the game. But if you've never played Madden before, we have this thing called age reduction. So basically, you get to reduce the age to a particular age. So in his case, his age is 20 years old. So Kirk Cousins is 20 years old in the game. He still has that ridiculous contract that the Vikings gave him. He probably will only be a 1-season quarterback for me unless he just happens to have a outstanding year. But the plan is to probably only rock out with him for a year. Kyle Allen is my backup quarterback. He probably will never touch the field on my team. Moving on to the running back situation, let's move over. My running back is Dalvin Cook. As I said, the star running back for the Vikings. We did a trade where I was able to acquire Dalvin Cook. He's going to definitely be my feature back. He one of the best running backs in the league at this time. So looking forward to playing with him. And my number 2 running back is I'm gonna let it come up on the screen. It's gonna be Damian Harris. He used to play for the Patriots. They're around the same. They're honestly around the same speed and everything, but I need more of a shifty back end. I don't think Damian fits the way that I play. He's just here right now. Moving on to my third running back, who you probably will see a lot of on my roster. It's going to be Nyheim Hines, who they Bills traded for midway through last season. He's going to definitely get a lot of reps in my offense. So be on the lookout for the fourth year guy of NC State. And last but not least, Nathan Cottrell. If you used to pay attention to my streams on the 4, I used to love building this guy, but it's a little harder building running backs on the 5s. So he's more so like a rental running back until our actual draft happens, which you will see a draft stream when it happens. It's going to be the real life players and based off their 40 times and everything. So that's just the running back situation. Moving on to the fullback. Reggie Gilliam is my fullback. He's going to be blocking for the running attack, and I'm looking forward to see if he's he's probably the best fullback I've had in the league so far. I've been working with like the likes of Keith Smith and guys like that. I've been having to sometimes put tight ends at fullback just to make it work out. So hopefully it's going to help my running game. Moving on to the wide receiver core. Now, this may be where you might all be shocked. I have Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is supposed to be in Seattle, but Tyler Lockett was traded to Kansas City. And then we ended up doing a trade where the Chiefs did a trade with me actually last night where I acquired Tyler Lockett and Justin Reed in a pick for Stephon Diggs and two medium picks. So kind of working the draft capital out, like I was saying to you all. But Tyler Lockett's going to be featured in my offense. The wide receiver 2 is still Gabe Davis. You know, he's been a big feature for Josh Allen in the offense in real life. The number 3 receiver, who's going to get an interesting chance in his offense, is Justin Shorter, the receiver out of Florida. He was drafted this year because these are some of the rookies that we're working with. I'm going to definitely utilize him in the offense. Wide receiver 4 is Khalil Shakir. He was drafted actually by the Bills in 2022. And I don't know how much he'll be featured in my offense, but if he is, then hey, awesome. Moving to wide receiver 5, former New York Jet wide receiver Vincent Smith is coming up on the screen. He's going to definitely get some reps in my offense. And definitely last but not least, another young guy in this offense is Devin Tompkins. He was a speedster that was picked up by, I want to say Tampa initially. They cut him. So he was in free agency and I picked him up. Moving on to the tight end situation. Dalton Kincaid, the star tight end out of Utah that the Bills drafted in the first round. He is my superstar tight end coming out of the gate. I'm looking forward to working with him this year. He is arguably the best tight end in the class, not named Sam Laporte, Darnell Washington, and Michael Mayer. But I'm looking forward to working with him. Tight end number 2 is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. He is pretty much a guy to be a free agency and usually try to work with him first season. A lot of guys like to go for him, but just want to get him featured in my offense. And tight end number 3 is Tanner Conner. He was initially drafted by the Miami Dolphins, but he was in a free agency in the league, so I picked him up. Moving on to the offensive line situation. As you see, 5-year left tackle Dion Dawkins, who just actually got paid by the Bills recently. He is my starting left tackle. I look forward to seeing can he really hold up against some of the better defensive units in the league. Moving to left guard. It's going to be Roger Saffold III. He actually is a veteran on my offensive line. He's 33. This is probably his last season in Buffalo, but for the time being, he's going to rock out of my offense, and hopefully we can go deep with us with this team at this point. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. Moving on to the situation at center. This is another position that I may eventually upgrade because Connor McGovern is actually right guard. I'm just testing him out at center for the moment as we just try to get through this first season. Moving on to right guard. Right guard is Florida's offensive lineman Osiris Torrance, who initially was getting first round grades. He ended up slipping, and the Bills picked him up later in the draft. He's going to be a really productive guy for the Buffalo Bills in real life and on my team because he was getting first round talent and he didn't go that high. So I think he's going to protect Josh Allen in real life. Well, it's going to protect Kirk Cousins in my offense pretty well. And thanks to Tevin, he did a offseason incentive. If you haven't seen it, if you're in the league, then go check it out. But he did an offseason incentive where you could give a little boost to your offensive lineman. So I put it on Osiris Torrance and going to give a chance to let him develop over the next season. So he should be the right guard for foreseeable future. And at right tackle is a name that you're going to probably be very familiar with. Is Brian Bulaga, the 12-year veteran out of the Green Bay Packers. Brian Bulaga was a key component in the Green Bay offensive line, protecting Aaron Rodgers for a lot of years. He was in free agency. He got an age reduction from me, and he's my best rated offensive lineman. I plan on re-signing him. He's going to be a part of my future. So looking forward to working with him. Now, that's my offense. On to the defense. And at left end is Greg Razoo, the DN out of Miami. I was high on him in real life coming out of the draft, and he lit it up in Miami. He's now a 85 overall. He's my starting left end. You definitely will see him try to reach havoc at the quarterback this year, moving to right end. The Bills also picked up Boogie Basham in that same draft. I'm going to be developing him to try to put together a really solid defensive line. I traded Von Miller away to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a couple of players. Devin White is one of them. You'll see him in a few. But we, like I said, we really was chopping down them contracts the best way we could and try to put a young and competitive team on the field. And also at the backup DN spot is veteran Bud Dupree, who was a former first-round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's coming in for his veteran presence, and he's going to probably get some snaps too as well. Looking forward to see how this plays out with Bud Dupree. Moving on to the D-tackle situation. At D-tackle, I have veteran Justin Houston, who a lot of you remember was a Pro Bowl pass rusher for the Kansas City Chiefs for a long time. He went to my favorite college, the University of Georgia, and he was a really solid talent for years. And we brought him in. He's going to be that veteran presence on the defensive line. And at the second defensive spot on this team is going to be Ed Oliver, 3-year veteran from 3-year player from Houston. And he definitely has lit it up for the Buffalo Bills. And he's going to be due for a contract in season 2. So he will absolutely be here. So, hey, I'm looking forward to working with these guys. Also, AJ Epineza, he was listed at DN. I moved him to D tackle in my scheme. I like to have speed on the rush and at linebacker. He doesn't fit that. He's more so of a defensive tackle build. So I may have some of the smaller defensive tackles in the league, but it is for a reason. Is to give the edge rushers a chance to really cause havoc. Now moving on to the linebacker core. It is Dorian Williams, the rookie out of Tulane. They just drafted him this year, actually. He's going to be my starting left side linebacker. I'm looking forward to see how he impacts the defense as well. He's a big part of my front seven. He will be. Moving to middle linebacker, it is Devin White, the Super Bowl. He arguably could have been one of the Super Bowl MVPs for the Buccaneers on their run a couple years ago to win the Super Bowl. He's a big part of our defensive unit. He's going to be my quarterback of the defense. He's going to be able to cause havoc all across the field. I'm looking forward to working with him, actually. And at right side linebacker is Nick Hampton, the rookie out of Appalachian State. He's actually on the Rams. Shout out to KD and the Rams organization. We did a trade to acquire Nick Hampton, and he's going to be a big part of building this young defense. So again, we're going to be young, but we're going to be competitive. Now, moving on to corner, this might be the strength of my team entering the season. You have veteran corner Tre'Davious White, a fifth-year veteran out of LSU, anchoring my defensive backfield. I'm a big Tre'Davious White fan. I look forward to working with him. At cornerback number 2, I'm going to talk about also how I got him on this team. Byron Jones is in free agency, and the Browns organization, Coach Jay Lee Jr. and company, they acquired him, and we ended up doing a trade for a first-round pick to acquire Byron Jones and Greg Newsome, who you'll see in a second. He's going to be the second corner. Moving on to cornerback number 3, which is Teron Johnson. He is the third string for the foreseeable moment. I actually am looking to trade him because he just he doesn't fit my scheme per se. And if you are looking to trade for me, if you're watching from the league, then hey, be my guest and trade for him. And my fourth corner right now is the first year guy to Northwestern, Greg Newsome. He had a solid year for the Cleveland Browns. He's going to be in my office. I'm looking forward to working with him. And we got a couple of guys just at the bottom, like Jaron Williams, Kadar Holtman, and Jared Davis. So this is really the bulk of my off defensive secondary. Moving on to the free safety position. We have Obi Melifonwu, the 6th-year guy out of the University of Connecticut. And my free safety, I'm just working with him at the moment, just for the short future, basically. And I'm either going to develop him or I'm going to be drafting at his position in the offseason. And moving to strong safety is Justin Reed, the 4th-year guy out of the University of Stanford. And he was initially a member of the Chiefs. Like I said, the Stephon Diggs trade acquired him. So I actually have me a young safety to anchor my back end. I got a deep secondary. So it's gonna be a fun first season for this defense. And the kicker I still have. Let me get him on the screen. Give us a second. It's gonna be Tyler Bass out of Georgia Southern University. Solid kicker. Need that kick power of 96 UC because I like to kick I love kicking long field goals. So looking forward to working with that. And then just to give you guys a little bit of my draft capital for the 2024 draft. This is the first I have from Kansas City. I have 3 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, and a 6th. I will probably require more capital as the season gets closer to ending, but for the foreseeable future, this is what I'm working with in the draft right now. But that's your breakdown of my roster. I want to go show my schedule to you all. Let me get over to the schedule, go to the team schedule. Okay, week 1, I got the Los Angeles Rams in LA. Like I said, KD is one of the best users in the league. I'm going to have to come out the gate swinging out the gate. It's not going to be easy. Excuse me, with my voice kind of going in and out. But week 2, We got K Harp in the Tennessee Titans coming to Buffalo in our first game of the season in Tennessee. In Buffalo. That should be an interesting matchup. K Harp is a up and coming user, so we're gonna look forward to see how he comes with his team. And then after that, we have a 2-game road trip. Week 3 is going to be against Rocco and the Miami Dolphins. This is going to be a big matchup. We've been wanting to go against each other for a minute, and we haven't had a chance to do it. This will be our first legitimate matchup. I got wait to see what he's done. He's been making a lot of moves over there in Miami, so I want to see what that team looks like by the time they get to week 3. Week number 4 is going up against Parker and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Parker is he's a competitive user. At the end of the day, there are times where I know if you have been following All the Smoke, his record does not speak to the talent that he has. He had some personal things going on, so he won his first game of the season against Justin Brown and the Jets. So looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. Week 5 is going to be one for the ages. I'm going to be facing off against Darrell and the Steelers at home. Darrell is one of the toughest users in the league. He is, if you saw my stream yesterday, he was the team that was representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. He will be playing later on today. He is one of the toughest users because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's not a high power throw the ball down the field guy. He's not a run it too much down your throat. He's a really balanced, effective, and efficient user. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be one of those games where I'm going to really do some thinking against him. And then week 6, we're going up against EJ Morris and the Kansas City Chiefs at Kansas City. Another very, very good user. Gonna have to come with a lot of. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a fun one in Kansas City. I'm gonna be ready because he's one of those users. He can work with anybody, similar to Katie and Darrell. They can work with anyone. So week 7 is my bye week. Kind of early. I wish I had a later bye week, but it is what it is. Week number 8. We'll return back to a Sunday night matchup with Nick and the Green Bay Packers. Nick is one of the underrated users in the league. He is definitely, he works well with any team that he gets. So, gonna be a fun matchup. And week number 9, we gotta get our first match with the New York Jets. So that's shout out to Justin Brown and that organization. We are looking forward to see what the Jets team will look like. I know he's gonna be a tough matchup. He got a lot of talent over there in New York, so not taking anything lightly. Week number 10. Now, this is gonna be another fun matchup. I actually have a pretty good schedule this year against Keandre and the Minnesota Vikings. This is gonna be the Josh Allen return to Buffalo. So I know it's going to be a high-powered matchup. I'm going to have to play my best ball against him. So, going to be fun to see. Week 11, I have a matchup with Jay Lee Jr. and the Cleveland Browns at home against them. Interested to see how that matchup will play out at that time of the season. It's going to be a little bit down the road, but we'll see what happens. Week number 12. Now, the Thanksgiving matchup is going to be another tough one. I'm going to just be honest. It's going to go against Coach Antoine Carroll and the Detroit Lions. He is definitely one of the best users in the league. He can work with anybody. I'm looking forward to see what that team's going to look like by the time we see them in week 12. Week number 13 is going to be our first matchup with the Patriots. It's crazy that we're just matched up at that point in the season for the first time. It's Robbie B in that organization. This is going to be my actual first time playing him in any league. So, intrigued to see what he looks like by that time of the season. Week 14 is going to be our matchup at home against Justin Brown and the New York Jets. I said it again, excuse me. But intrigued to see what the situation is going to look like in week 14 of the league. Moving on to week 15, we actually have back-to-back Saturday games. The first Saturday game is at home against the Dolphins, and a rematch with Rocco. We'll see how the team is looking by that time of the season. Moving on to week 16 is going to be the other early Saturday matchup between myself and Gary Connors in Chicago. So going to be intrigued to see what that team like by that time of the season as well. Week number 17 is my last road game of the season against Coach Anthony Trella and the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, some of these matchups could be played, some of them may not be played, depending on who record is where in the season, because at a certain point, head commission allows you to start taking, I'm going to play all my games. Every game I can play. So I'm going to play them. The final game, and this is another interesting thing that to bring to the stream, the Bills' final game at their old stadium. I've moved them out. They're going to go to a dome next season, not going to deal with this high school stadium at all. It's going to be against Robbie, so we'll be intrigued to see how we look in week 18. But this is the schedule. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on the schedule so far. We're going to see what we look like by that time of the season. But this is your preview of the Buffalo Bills. I'm looking forward to working with this team, man. I'm looking forward to something different, something unique, and something to build. So wish me the best of luck, man. I didn't set that goal. I really would have set myself to just 7 wins. I like to set it kind of minimum because I don't know what my team like the first season, because those goals kind of give you XPs. But ultimately, I'm looking forward to see what the Buffalo Bills are going to bring to the table for OG. This is going to be our first report. I'll be back. I'll be doing these reports kind of frequent, maybe every 4 weeks, maybe every week. We'll see. But again, this is my Buffalo Bills preview. Look forward to playing in OG. Shout out to Tevin Ratcliffe and the outstanding league that he runs. I'm a co-commissioner in it. It's just thankful to be back a part of this outstanding league. Guys, have fun. Good luck to whoever come out of this league as the champ, and let's have some fun. Are y'all ready for some football? I know I am. Check it off.
EA Sports, within the game.